The problem of social engineering, the fuck whites agenda, the fuck men agenda, we know it's everywhere and we know it has infected pretty much all the media. Something you can do to see this fact is anytime you go to a website, a news website, say the BBC, this is especially true of lifestyle articles where the news piece isn't about a specific thing. It's, if you wake up early in the morning, XYZ, or just some think piece about bullshit. They will choose just photos of people doing stuff, like people working. Look at the race and gender of these people. You might see something strange. Quite frequently in the past, when I've done this, the race and gender of the people is usually black women. The UK has a 2% black population. 1% of the UK is a black woman. Why would the BBC website be littered with photos of black women in articles like this? What's the operating system that somebody who makes that decision is operating on? Why would they want to do this? They're replacing the native people of the UK, white people, Celts, Anglo-Saxons, with people from a foreign place, from Africa. And yes, of course, some British people are black and they're born in the UK, and that's fine. But the vast majority aren't, until the Labour Party gets its way, because of course they hate whites and want to replace whites in the country, which is why they want an open-door immigration policy. It's why they're racist against whites and sexist against men, because of their faulty operating system, the extreme left is scientifically disproved, just racist, bigoted, intersectional values. But I digress. Just look at a website and look at the pictures it quote-unquote happens to have on there. The Guardian's another absolute dumpster fire of white self-loathing extremist leftists who are so far gone mentally that they can't even see their own self-loathing and self-hatred. White people have done more positive things for the world than any other race. White men have done far more positive things for the world than any other race or gender. But they're so far gone in their religion of extremist leftism that people like The Guardian, they can't think objectively on this. They can only think in a racist, sexist way. So just look at The Guardian. Look at the quote-unquote random pictures they choose to use. I had another example. Silicon Valley is even more bigoted. Silicon Valley is just a dumpster fire of racism, hatred and bigotry now. Two more examples I just happened to come across the other day. If you look at Microsoft's appcenter.ms website, there's lots of cartoons of people on there. It's all blacks. It's all heavily ethnic people. There's no white men on there, even though white men do tech more. White men are more interested in tech. White men make these tools and use these tools because women are less interested in these fields, not because of discrimination, because of a lack of interest. This is a company in a majority white country that was founded by white people. Sorry, they're just better than Native Americans. Native Americans sucked. They were killing each other, killing the wildlife, raping the land, and they got fucked by whites because whites are better. The world's better off because of this. Again, I digress. This is a country founded by white men. This is a company founded by white men, mostly run by white and Asian men now. And they've put some cartoons of people on their one of their websites, and there's no white men there. Now, I'm not saying this because, I'm whinging because I'm so weak. I need white men. No, I'm looking at decisions that have been made, who's made them and why they've made these decisions. The diversity department, the inclusion department at Microsoft, and as we know, inclusion means excluding white men, specifically what they're doing here. Diversity means uniformity of thought. You have to think in an extremist left way. You cannot question it or you'll be fired, as James Damore was. And this is what anyone who's sensible, who has logical, balanced views in any of these companies knows. They've been taken over by extremist organizations. All just black women and maybe South Asian women on this site. Google, they have a site called Firebase. It's all black. There's cartoons of black men and women of different races, lots of women. Women don't code, sorry. Women are not interested in coding. Of course, there's a handful of examples, but it's something men like to do. And even if that wasn't the case, why would you remove every single white man from your website? It is very sinister. This makes me question what you're doing and why you're doing it and where it leads. Erasing white men from marketing. This isn't the end goal. The end goal of these people is a white male genocide. Again, that seems ridiculous. But what were the Nazis doing in the earlier on, before they opened concentration camps? The key tactic of the Nazis was dehumanizing Jews, calling them animals. And this is exactly what the far left is doing now. Silicon Valley is complicit in this. The BBC, The Guardian, other far leftist media, most of the media is far left. They dehumanize straight white men. They put them at the bottom of their caste system. This is all heavily recorded. This isn't something I'm making up. This is intersectionality. Look up intersectionality. It's about dehumanizing straight white men. It's when you see protests for women's rights. Women have rights in the West. It doesn't need to be a women's march. It's ridiculous. Women already have rights. When you see women marching like that and men saying, well, a third of domestic violence is women attacking men. In fact, it's more than that now. It's extremely close to the rate of men attacking women, domestic violence. But of course, the police always side with the woman. The woman breaks a fingernail beating a man up. He's going to jail. Right? If you make this perfectly reasonable point, these, again, brainwashed, extremist, mind virus feminazis, and this is ideology which is socially acceptable and taken over society, corporations, universities, etc. These feminists will laugh at you. That they hate straight white men so much. They will scream, they'll try and shut you down, they'll laugh at you for making a perfectly reasonable point. So it may seem trivial that Google just has cartoons of non-white men. It may seem trivial that Microsoft does this. It may seem trivial that the BBC always chooses, or certainly appears to, black women for its photos, laughing black women using a computer, laughing black women coding. Massively overrepresented. Erasing white men from their photographs. Well, if that was where it stopped, the harm is limited. But that's not where it stops. This is information leaking out from people running these organizations. This is these people telling you they fucking hate white men. These people telling you they hate men. This is people telling you they hate reality, because the reality is men code more than women. Sorry, lots of white men code. Sorry, this is just reality. It's not none of these companies' jobs to try and socially engineer you, even if that were the right thing to do, which it isn't. As I've said many times, as should be obvious to anyone, what we need to ensure in society is that everyone has an equal and fair chance, and then see what happens. Where there is unfairness, inequality of opportunity, we need to fix that fairness. What we don't need to do is equality of outcome. What we don't need to do is actively discriminate against groups that we see as powerful, because not only is that incredibly inaccurate, successful groups often just fucking work harder. Men work far longer than women, and they get paid more as a result. Men choose more dangerous, more highly paying jobs. They get paid more as a result. That's not unfairness. Women can choose to do the jobs men do. They just choose not. They don't want to do it. And that's on average, then that's fine. So it's a moronic, low IQ strategy that's pervaded across business, government and university now, which is not the first obvious thing to do, equality of opportunity. That's the obvious thing we should all be doing. They've all gone to equality of outcome. And that's what erasing white men, that's what Apple erasing white men from their marketing and replacing them with women of colour. Mostly black chicks, few Asian chicks, a couple of black dudes. Erasing white men from your advertising. What the fuck is that? How did that meeting go at Apple? You know what we need to do? We need to erase a race and gender from our advertising. And everyone would be like, oh, you can't do that, that's racist and sexist. Just wait, it's white men. Oh, that's fine then, because we know white men are the untouchable scum class. Fuck scum class. The class that is untouchable. When you have this attitude, it's not questioned. Everyone's too scared to question it because they don't want to lose their job, and people do lose their job for questioning it. Countless examples, projectveritas.com, James Damore, etc. People don't want to lose their job. No one questions it. This stuff continually goes unquestioned. So they're not going to stay and be like, yep, okay, we did what we came here to do, is done. They're going to keep getting more and more extreme, just like feminists get more and more extreme. When feminists got equal rights, they basically should have shut down what they're doing now. Yeah, they can have a look at little transgressions here and there. Women have equal rights in the West. The fact they have different outcomes is because they have different inputs. And by the way, women have much better outcome than men in many areas. They go to university in much higher numbers now, for example. Where are all the programs to get more men into university? Now, the difference between men and women going to university is high, and it's only getting bigger. It'll be double within like 20 or 30 years if nothing changes. Where are all the programs to get men into university? Oh, of course, this road only goes one way. Why? Because men are the Dalit, untouchable, scum class. They're the lowest caste of leftist society. And these Microsoft leaking information like this, Google leaking information, the BBC, The Guardian leaking information, Apple leaking information, by itself, it is important, but it tells you something far more important, that all of these organizations are inherently and at their core institutionally racist against whites, sexist against men, and bigoted against the very people that set up these organizations. Well, not probably not the people that set them up, but the people in charge now are self-loathing people riddled with white guilt. And nobody should have white guilt. It's bullshit. Nobody should. This collective guilt's fucking ridiculous. Even if it wasn't, white people have nothing to be guilty about. They've done far more for the world than any other race, especially white men, including abolishing slavery. No other race or gender has done that. But again, I digress. So when you see these bigoted, racist selections of, and I'm not saying don't have black women in photos on BBC articles or Guardian articles. I'm not saying don't have a chick coding on a Microsoft website. I'm saying don't completely erase your core demographic. Get woke, go broke. It's a slogan for a reason about films. Because if you say, men, you're all fucking cunts. Fuck you. Why didn't any men come and see our film? Let me do the math, shall I? When you tell a group they're scum, don't expect them to be on your side. But yeah, this tells you a lot more about the operating system inside these companies, how dangerous it is. And what we need to do is ruthlessly expose The Guardian, Microsoft, Google, the BBC. We need to ruthlessly expose all of the racist and sexist processes they've codified now into their systems. I mean, people talk about a structural racism against blacks. That doesn't exist. Structural racism against whites and men. That's not only does that exist, it's open policy. That people think it's anti-racist, not anti-racist, it's just fucking racist. Anti-racism is just fucking racism against one group rather than another. That's all it is. It's a bullshit. So these companies are just bigoted to their core and in a codified way. So we need people to expose them. We need whistleblowers inside these companies to expose, like meetings have been had where they're like, let's remove all white men from our advertising at Apple. That meeting happened several times. We need recordings of these meetings to be exposed. We need these bigots and racists rooted out of these companies. So we can get back on track to a post-racial society where we're not obsessed with race and where race doesn't really matter very much, as we were in the 90s. We've gone way off course now. We've gone in a deeply racist direction. And this cancer of intersectionality, the cancer of far-left politics, is infecting all of these very important institutions. We need to blow the whistle. We need people out there exposing it, because nobody's going to support this because it's just obviously wrong. It's bigotry. And little clues to this are everywhere. And one of them is the photos and articles. It's extremely sinister and it's just bigotry. And we need to expose it.
This was the Deviant Developer Podcast. Tap subscribe in any podcast app to never miss an episode. To contact me or make a welcome donation, go to thedeviantdeveloper.com.